Alright, this week it's time to get into a good old subclass. So, pretty much got it right here on my fancy dancy iPhone and everything. So, this one is Warlock Pact of the Dragon subclass. It's a Warlock subclass. So, this one's by Dungeon Dan Craddock. So, in this one, your patron is an ancient dragon. As a primeval being whose power rivals the gods, whether a strong dragon, a wrathful dragon, or a forgotten dragon, this dragon has offered you some of its might. Warlocks of the Pact of the Dragon often show draconic traits and a hunger for power, wealth, or legacy traits instilled in them by their scaled benefactors. And a little poem it has in the sky, echoes of the beats of wing, spewing fire from its mouth on everything. The pact you made, signed with quill, made you subject to thy dragon's will. And that's Agravar, the first warlock pact of the dragon. So now we get into like the actual features and everything. So first, we got expanded the spell list. So the dragon grants you access to a suite of spells that reflects its elemental nature and overwhelming presence. Choose a damage type associated with your patron's draconic ancestry: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. Think of like the breath weapons that like the dragons use and everything to kind of get into that. So this choice affects your subclass features and cannot be changed later. So with like the warlock expanded spells, like you got like going from first to fifth elf. So first you got chromatic orb and cause fear. Second is gust of wind and scorching ray. Third, fireball and fly. Fourth is fire shield and wall of fire, and fifth is flame strike and dominate person. So now with the draconic pact, you get like the features and everything. So first level pact of the dragon feature is that you manifest signs of your patron's power. You gain fallen benefits, draconic resistance. You gain resistance to your patron's associated damage type. For instance, like the ones I mentioned, like going back up, you have like let's see, acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison. So you have like resistance to whatever that is. And then draconic tongue, you can speak, read, and write draconic. You have advantage on charisma checks made to interact with dragons. So now your pact boon, which is a third level pact of the dragon feature. So this one is Claws of the Worm. You can summon claws of elemental energy as a bonus action from out of the ground. This lasts for 1 minute or until dismissed. While active, you can use your charisma modifier instead of strength for attack and damage rolls, of unarmed strikes, and they deal 1d6 damage of your chosen patron's damage type: acid, lightning, fire, cold. So 1d6. Find my place again. So 1d6 damage of the chosen patron's damage type. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. So like for instance, like a proficiency bonus usually starts off at +2, and like people can correct me if I'm wrong, but by level 20 I think it goes up to like a +6 and everything. So people can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and everything about that, and someone can maybe actually share the actual progression, level progression with like the proficiency bonus, because it goes like up. I know it starts +2, +3, and I think, like I said, goes up to +6 at by the time you're like level 20. It's up to +6. So now like that's third level pact, and then your draconic pact companion. You get this 6th level pact of the dragon feature. Your bond with your draconic patron manifests as a skilled magical creature that is a drake-shaped familiar forged from your patron's essence. You perform a special 1-hour ritual to summon this creature, which can only be done once per long rest. So it's a drake familiar. You summon a drake familiar, which uses the stat block below, which we'll get into. The drake is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. In combat, it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and take reactions on its own, but it only takes the dodge action unless you use a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action, such as attack, dash, disengage, or help. what comes to mind with something like that is maybe like a chocobos in Final Fantasy 14, where you can actually command them to kind of help out in battle and everything. So that's what comes to mind with me, having played Final Fantasy 14 for years. So now back to this is, if the Drake is reduced to 0 hit points, it vanishes and cannot be summoned again until you finish a long rest. So, scale and growth. At 6th level, the Drake is small. At 10th level, it grows to medium and gains a flying speed of 30 feet. So now we got the Drake familiar stat block. So, small dragon, your alignment, armor class 14 plus natural, like a PB, natural armor. Hit points 5 plus 5 times your warlock level. The Drake has a number of hit dice, d8s, equal to your warlock level. Speed 30 feet, climb 20 feet, and of course, like I said, at medium size, at 6th level, it gets 30 feet of flying movement. So strength is 12 plus 1, dex 15 plus 2, con 14 plus 2, intelligence 6 minus 2, wisdom 12 plus 1, and charisma 6 minus 2. Now, like saving throws, it's dex plus 2 plus PB, wisdom plus 1 plus PB, skills perception plus 3, stealth plus 2 plus PB, damage resistance, your patron's associate damage type, e.g., for example, fire or lightning. Senses, dark vision 60 feet, and passive perception of 13. And with languages, it understands the language you can speak but cannot speak itself. Its challenge is proficiency bonus, PB equals your bonus. Proficiency bonus, PB equals yours. Actions: bite is a melee weapon attack. Your spell attack modifier to hit. Reach is 5 feet, 1 target, and it does 1d6 plus proficiency bonus damage of piercing damage. And then reactions, it gets elemental strikes. When another creature within 30 feet of the Drake that it can see hits a target with a weapon attack, the Drake infuses the strike with the damage type of your patron: fire, cold, acid, lightning, causing the target to take an extra 2d6 damage of that type determined by your patron's element. And then Worm's Majesty. This is the 10th level Pact of the Dragon feature. So your presence echoes with ancient power. You gain the following benefits. You are immune to the frightened condition, and as a bonus action, you can exude an aura of fear and majesty. Each creature of your choice within 10 feet must make a wisdom saving throw against your warlock spell save DC or become frightened until the end of your next turn. Creatures that succeed are immune for 24 hours. You can use this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. Additionally, if you reduce your creature to 0 hit points on your turn, you can choose to terrify one other creature. As a reaction, choose one creature within 20 feet that can see you. You must again succeed on a Wisdom DC saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC or become frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Now, last one, Rise of the Dragon. So this is the 14th level Pact of the Dragon feature. You become a vessel of Draconic might. As a bonus action, you can assume a majestic Draconic form for 1 minute. While in this form, you gain the following benefits. You gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed. So for instance, like if you're an elf or like a human or something of medium size, you'd get like a 30 feet of flying abilities like you would 30 feet walking speed type of deal. Or if like you're a halfling, you'd get 20 feet or so. That's how that would work. So that's the walking speed. You gain temporary hit points equal to your warlock level times 2. So like for instance, at being at level 14, you'd get like hit 14 times 2 would be 28, so you get 28 temporary hit points. And then once per turn, when you deal melee attack damage of your patron damage type, you can add your charisma modifier to your damage dealt. So like for instance, most likely you would have by this point like a charisma of like 20. I'll use as an example, so that'd be +5. So you'd have like a +5 to damage dealt to like add to melee attack and everything. So now like you also have this ability of you emit a magical aura. Hostile creatures within 10 feet of you have disadvantage on saving throws against being frightened, and you can use this feature once per long rest. So again, this is like on my phone. It has sent. You can see like pact of the dragon subclass. So it's a warlock one, and it's by friend Dan Craddock. And of course, if I'm mispronouncing your name and everything, you always correct me as well and everything. So that's the subclass that he's made for like the warlock. So if you definitely want to see more, you talk about more of like the subclasses and everything, then like don't hesitate to like send stuff my way. So like my name is like pretty much like across the board the same as on Facebook, Instagram, like Threads as here and everything. So just like if you like actually getting into like these subclasses and stuff, don't hesitate to like send me stuff, and I'll actually can like talk about that stuff, because I always like coming across like new stuff, especially like with like subclasses and everything, because the homebrew stuff that like all of us can come up with is like fantastic and everything. So like the stuff that we like can make based on like this game and everything is like just phenomenal and like endless, and it's pretty much limitless with what we can do, especially with it when it comes to subclasses, in the sense that we don't necessarily need source books. We can, in a sense, get the core rule books, and then in a sense make our own subclasses based on like what we are running ourselves and everything. So this Pact of the Dragon subclass, what I think would be like a perfect fit for like maybe like a Dragonlance type of campaign. Of course, you could like easily fit into like a Greyhawk or Forgotten Realms, but with Dragonlance being all about dragons and everything, I would say that this subclass would be something like perfect for like Dragonlance, especially if you're playing one of the Draconians, or you could, in a sense, do like a kind of one for the metallic dragons, like gold, silver, and something like that. Maybe doing the War of the Lance, you could run like a character that's been kind of like in the shadows, kind of working with the dragons, kind of like behind the scenes to try and get their eggs back and everything. So again, these are just kind of ideas on how you could implement this subclass and everything. So, but again, do what you will with it, because like the ways you can use this are pretty much only limited by our imagination as well.